Reynatis is the latest action RPG by Furio, and published by NIS America on the Nintendo Switch. This game is set in a magical version of Tokyo's famous Shibuya district, and the game blends urban fantasy with real-world locales in a way that makes you feel like you could step into the streets and witness wizards in action yourself. But how does this game fare beyond its compelling setting? Is it a magical journey we've been waiting for? Or does it stumble under its own ambitions? Well, let's dive in. Reynatis pits its narrative focus between two very different characters. Sari, a dedicated officer of the Magic Enforcement Administration, or MEA, tasked with maintaining the order in the magical-infused Tokyo, and Marin, a rebellious wizard fighting for freedom and self-empowerment. On one hand, you're playing as the law, trying to rein in dangerous magic users, and in the other, you're a rogue trying to break free from the constraints of this system. It's a compelling dynamic that pulls you on both sides of the conflict. And when it comes to the gameplay, this game borrows mechanics from other action RPGs, all while adding its own unique twist. Combat is fast-paced, with notable similarities to the Xenoblade Chronicles series, but with some distinct influences from Neo The World Ends With You. One of the central features is the ability to switch characters during battle, as each character in your party has their own cooldown timer, and swapping strategically is key to keeping your magic points high and dealing heavy damage. And speaking of magic, MP management is crucial, as your wizards can cast powerful spells, but they drain MP quickly, and this creates a high-stake balance act where you're constantly swapping characters in and out to maximize their damage potential, all while keeping them from running out of energy. So a successful swap lets you unleash devastating combos before retreating to recover. And for me, one of the most interesting mechanics in this game is the stress system, as it plays a major role in how Marin's story unfolds. Marin's stress levels fluctuate based on her situation. When stress is high, Marin deals more damage, but letting it max out triggers liberation mode, which is a dangerous state where Marin's wizardry draws out too much attention. But on the flip side, keeping stress low allows her to move unnoticed, avoiding unwanted attention in the streets of Shibuya. It's a delicate dance between chaos and controlling, adding another level of tension to the gameplay. But the real heart of this game lies in its story, as the game is a tale of conflict ideals, personified by Sari and Marin. Sari's role as an MEA officer puts her in the position of trying to maintain order. She's tasked with keeping the streets safe, but as the plot unfolds, you begin to see the cracks in the system. Corruption, conspiracy, and ethical dilemmas force her to question whether the MEA's mission is truly just. On the flip side, we have Marin. He represents the other extreme, the desire for total freedom, to live without restrictions imposed by society or authority. And as a rogue wizard, Marin is constantly being haunted, either by the MEA or the enigmatic All-Wizard Guild. And his journey is all about self-discovery and breaking free from limitations placed on him. But it's also the struggle of surviving in a world that doesn't want him to exist. And the most engaging aspect of this game is its social commentary, as beneath the flashy spells and the chaotic battles is a story that mirrors real-world struggles, as the game's plot touches on the themes of freedom versus control, the dangers of addiction, and the gray areas of societal loss. And the introduction of Rubrum, a drug that allows non-wizards to perceive magic but eventually turns them into monsters, serves as a chilling metaphor for the consequences of unchecked powers and desires. And visually, this game makes a strong first impression. The game's depiction of Shibuya is vibrant and alive, blending the mundane with magical and clever ways. But unfortunately, while the game's aesthetic is appealing, the performance on the Switch leaves much to be desired. Frequent load times, frame drops, and occasional freezes mar what could have been an otherwise immersive experience. Moving between zones can trigger significant delays, and while the combat remains relatively smooth, the game's technical issues are hard to ignore. It's clear that the Switch is struggling to handle the game's ambitions, and while I didn't encounter game-breaking bugs, these performance hiccups definitely detracted from the overall experience. And although this is a game that offers an ambitious narrative and engaging combat set in a beautifully realized version of Tokyo, it also unfortunately stumbles where it matters the most: performance. The frequent load times, frame drops, and occasional freezes make it hard to fully immerse yourself in this world. And while the combat mechanic can be fun once you get the hang of it, the clunky mechanics and intuitive button mapping may turn off some players before they reach the game's more rewarding late game moments. In my opinion, Reynatis is a fascinating game that doesn't quite live up to its potential on the Switch, and for me the game's a 6.8 out of 10. If you're someone drawn into urban fantasy, deep narratives, and thoughtful social commentary, the game's worth playing, but be prepared for a few frustrating moments along the way. And unfortunately for everyone else, I cannot recommend this game, especially since you can't play it on other systems. If you've played this game, did you like it? Would you recommend it? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching till the end. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a great day.